Hello, everyone, and welcome to Session 10 of Oblivion Oath. I can't believe it. We're finally back live after our break, and to top it off, we hit Session 10. Double digits. Woo! All right. So first of all, for those of you who watched us through the break that went through PaizoCon, watched all the pre-recorded episodes, joined us at PaizoCon, saw us in the panel, saw us play live game, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for telling your friends about Oblivion Oath. This has been a wild ride. I just got back from PaizoCon and UK Games Expo, and I had fans literally from all around the world telling me how much they enjoyed this show, how much they enjoyed all of these amazing players, and so that's thanks to all of you. Thank you for watching.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, as we get started here, we've got a couple of administrative things to take care of. Throughout the long break when we were airing episodes, people were still watching. They were earning XP, and they were spending that XP. So we have a lot of coins to give out. We have a lot of hero points to give out. In fact, Corey Marie bought one for every member of the group.
Oh,
that's right.
wow.
Corey Marie bought a hero point for each member of the group. So I'm going to put two this way and two this way so you can hand those out.
Thank you.
So everyone in the group got a hero point from Corey Marie. I also want to thank Steve Geddes for buying a hero point for Zell. So we'll pass another one down to Zell. And on top of that, we had some other folks buy hero points, but they have now bought them in excess of what hero points people have available to them. So I can't give them out because the maximum is 3. Now, the reason why that's important is you can spend a hero point to re-roll, but if you're spending your hero points to save yourself from dying, you spend them all at once. So I don't want to give them the hero points in excess of 3 because if they have to use them for that function, they'll be spent. So we'll wait until folks spend some hero points and then we'll award more. Now, that's of course not the only thing you can buy with your gold here on the Paizo stream. You can also buy villain points.
Oh no.
And I want to thank Chaotic Cordon for buying me a villain point. And I also want to thank Darth3 for buying me a villain point. So I'm full up. That's right. Full of villain points. All 3 of them. I have all 3 now.
That's bad.
So this is great.
It's terrible.
All right.
We need spooky coins with something evil on it.
Yeah, no, I need to find a better solution. This is good to let people know, but it's not the perfect solution. We'll figure something out. You think we could work on that? We're at episode 10 now, but we'll figure it out. We're learning every day. Oh, yeah. So, I think that's about all the administrative stuff. I do want to talk about the coming few weeks. Most importantly, I should also mention that with some GPs, some folks have bought some NPCs. We'll be getting to those when they come up. When they do, I'll make sure to note it. But until then, I'll keep those to myself. Looks like we have more points being put on deck.
Oh my god!
You folk are awesome. Thank you very much. This is the list keeps growing over on the whiteboard, which is just off to my right, and I keep seeing Dan chuckle and write hysterically on there. So I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming schedule. We're going to be live this week. We'll be live next week. The week after that is the 4th of July, which is a holiday here in the U.S. We will not be live on the 4th. The 4th will be taking off. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. All right. When we last left our intrepid band of adventurers, they were in the sewers of Thronestep. Having arrived there from a barge on Lake Incarthen that met an unfortunate end by fire, the group woke up on the beach. You had an encounter with a knight who crumbled to ash and left you all with a gift, a key tattoo. And could you guys remind me who actually is wearing the key?
Me.
Is it on Mikah right now? Okay, that's good to know.
The necromancer.
What?
It's fine.
Nothing.
It's fine. That's a secret, unless they watched episode 9, which they now finally have. All right.
Yay.
So after an unfortunate encounter with the knight, you ended up in the city of Thronestep, where you learned all about peace and prosperity and the cultists who promote it. And you were lured down into the sewers with a promise of helping you escape. Although when you arrived, after dealing with rats and oozes and a rather friendly Adiug, you found that the meeting that you had been invited to was indeed a trap. That the Razmir and cultists had no intention of helping you escape. In fact, the entire thing was a ruse to root out those who might dare oppose Razmir's will. However, you had other plans in mind, and those other plans involved violence. So...
I mean, we didn't plan the violence.
That is, well, yeah, that's fair, but violence was the go-to. And
Yes.
After a tense battle, you stand undefeated. The cultists around you are laying on the ground. They are all dead, except for Herald of Razmir, Vokar, who left right as things got started. So, that is where we left off. What seems like forever ago. I know for many of you that was just last week's episode, but for us it was like 2 months ago now, it seems. Yeah. So, we're going to pick up right where we left off. And so, you are standing in this chamber. The blood is still pumping. Your ears are still beating with the sound of your heart. You are all breathing heavily, clutching weapons and armor, looking at the bodies as the pools of blood grow ever wider on the floor. I believe you've already looted them. Is that true? No.
I don't.
No, maybe not.
I don't think we did.
No. I
I
guess
think it's also important to remember that some of us are still covered in gross sewer goo and blood.
Yes.
Just to set the mood.
Now that the violence has ended, Qundle makes sure he's on the other side of you from Mikah.
It's okay.
Scooch.
We should,
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I won't hurt you.
Uh-huh.
we should
Oh,
loot these
good.
bodies and get out of here.
I like the get out of here part.
I'm in favor of getting out of here.
Yep, me too.
I never wanted to be here.
He said the city was bad.
I did say the city was bad.
The sewer is equally bad.
The
Yeah.
sewer's actually better than the rest of the city. We're not being charged to be here.
That's true.
We already determined that the Adiog was the most reasonable person we've met so far, so...
Yeah.
That is fair.
Yeah. And his wife's somewhere, so...
Yes, Grenville and Sigartha.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who may have forgotten, Grenville is the name of the Adiog, and his wife, Sigartha, who you have not met.
Grenville might know a way out.
Right.
We can ask him.
First things first, I think Zell wants to loot the bodies.
Let's loot these bodies.
Figure it out.
So you have a trio of kind of cultists here, which included some folks that you knew, and then there was also Selvit, the Pathfinder, who led you down here. Checking the cultists, just to keep things simple, you find simple things like a mace. You know, they have maces, they have saps. You have robes and masks.
Those might come in handy.
Although they will only really fit Zell. The rest of you are too short.
With a tail.
Yeah. Who has a tail? So, good luck on that disguise check.
Can we do, like, the stack on top of each other? Like, 3 people in a trench coat?
You could, but I'm not sure if Dan has any yakety sacks prepared behind the camera there.
I feel like Dan should have yakety sacks.
It's fair. So you find that, but you also find a handful of small vials and stuff on their person. Grand total, you find 2 vials, one of which is filled with a red kind of bubbling liquid. Another one is filled with a white milky liquid of some sort. And then one of them has a sack on his belt that you can't actually open because the top of it's kind of glued shut. And it's filled with, like, you can feel it, and it's like filled with, like, the consistency of, like, silly putty.
Okay.
That's what you find on the cultist.
Huh.
Let's not spend a lot of time examining these things
Yeah, we
here.
can do
Let's
it
just take it
later.
That's what you find on the cultist. Selvit is another question entirely, by the way. Selvit has a very nice looking rapier. His rapier looks of incredibly good quality. He also, you saw this, you saw him check a compass. He has that. He obviously has, he does not have a mask and robes because he was never dressed as a cultist. So he is wearing studded leather armor. Yeah. He's wearing studded leather. And attached to his rapier is on a charm is a, like, dried and withered claw. And then he has 2 vials with liquid on his belt, one of which contains a shimmering silver liquid. The other one contains a kind of ruby-colored liquid. And then last but not least, he has a coin pouch that you can feel is definitely filled with a variety of coins.
Do you mind if I take this rapier?
Go for it.
No.
Yay! With
You're
its
good
weird...
with rapiers.
So, if I detect magic, is anything in a 30-foot emanation magic that I am not already familiar with?
Yes.
Okay, so some of this is magical.
Yeah.
Cool.
You could spend, if you had time, you could identify some of this stuff and figure out exactly what is magical. But figuring out each one requires you to spend 10 minutes. And I believe in one of our earlier sessions I was like, oh yeah, it doesn't require a skill check. It does, in fact, require a skill check. In our marathon session, I forgot that last time. So, FYI, it will require a skill check. It's not particularly hard unless it's a particularly powerful magic item. So, anyway, you have this pile of magic items, so there's no time for you to figure out what any of it does just yet. Maybe later, but right now, what do you do?
Put stuff in pockets and sacks and whatnot, and I think we should, even if they don't fit, I think we should still take the masks.
I'm going to take a cloak and mask.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not.
No?
Well, the trick is, by the way, you also only have 3. Because Selva didn't have 1.
Right, okay.
Great,
So-
then it's not a big deal that I'm not. I just don't like the idea of grabbing a god's paraphernalia and running around under his city. Seems like it might annoy him.
Okay.
I think murdering his followers also might.
Yeah, I think we're
It's
already
irksome.
kind of
Have you heard the human phrase, adding insult to injury? The injury's done. Let's dodge the insult if we possibly
That's
can.
fair.
Perhaps I've converted after murdering them all.
By the way, considering you have a snout, you can't even really wear the mask. It looks really ridiculous. Like, you have to kind of just balance it on top of your snout. It doesn't really. I mean, you don't have a pronounced, like, you're not like a crocodile, but your face shape isn't quite.
It's got a bit.
Yeah.
But they really should figure that out for if any Erexi want to wear those masks.
And should you join, I'm sure they will come up with a solution.
I'm sure for a small fee.
Yeah.
They can make you a custom
For,
mask.
for a nominal fee, Razmir will undoubtedly ensure that you have the mask you need.
Custom masks.
Custom mask. Now available on Oblivion Oath. All right. So, you've gathered up all of the materials here. Mm-hmm. Basically, what you're left with now is 4 rather indistinct corpses. Underneath their armor and clothing and armor and robes and stuff, they're just wearing like ordinary commoner clothing. Not particularly clean, not particularly nice.
Sure.
Many of them have like tattoos from being in like prisons and things like that. They're an unsavory bunch.
One is a withered husk, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all 3 of them, the 3
Show
kind of
signs
cultists
of-
show signs of these gray, withering wounds across them.
About that.
while Zell's been looting the bodies and stuff, as that process is happening, Carina will, put the bodies maybe in a nice little row, cross their arms, shut their eyes, and all that, and I don't think she's going to do the little Pharasman, like, blessings for their souls, but she'll at least...
All right.
We should burn them.
We absolutely should not burn them.
What about...
We're
Bodies
underground.
just keep coming back in this.
We're underground. There's a limited amount of air. There's gas. You've never hung out in the sewer under a big
sewer
city
gas.
before, have you?
No.
It's like
I have, and it's a terrible idea.
It's a swamp with a roof.
I know, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
No matter where Carina goes, Qundle maneuvers so that she remains between him and Mikah.
So this entire process, by the way, takes about 10 minutes, so if you need to recover a focus point, as a matter of fact, laying out the bodies can count as you refocusing. So you can get your focus point because that's so tied to your faith. If anybody else who wasn't looting wanted to make a heal check or a medicine check to patch anyone up, you could do that too.
Anyone injured that needs patching? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all that looting and stripping armor and stuff takes about 10 minutes.
Do we think we need more offerings for Grenville to help us? Or
Do you think that the gray withering wounds is safe for an audio to eat?
I don't.
Yes.
I don't actually know.
Is this necromantic corpse? Is this flavoring or is this poison? That's a fine question.
I mean, he eats corpses soaked in poop. So
Yeah, but is it necromantic poop? That's
Some of it
the
is.
question we're
I guarantee
dealing
you some of it is.
All right,
How do
so
we get
before
out of
we
here?
get into this deep and engaging debate, you finish that up. You're going to go ahead and make the medicine check. It's a DC 15. Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. All right. So Qundle attempts to help your wounds, but doesn't seem to make any progress. So
Your
we'll have to try
necromantic
again in an hour.
powers.
His heart's not in it because he's scared of me.
I'm running lower and lower on the good pickles.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
You're now down to the tiny little kind of
Gherkins.
salty gherkins. Yeah. All right. So that's all been taken care of. What's your next plan of action?
So what do you think Vokar was expecting to have happen?
I think he expected us to be like, we'll join, or that his followers were going to kill us.
Right. So do we think he's going to be coming back in here soon?
Well, if
or
his-
did he just go away and expect everything to get cleaned up?
I think if his minions don't report on our death, he'll assume we did well, or mutual destruction.
Why does it matter?
Because if we need to get out right now, or if we can take things a little bit more cautiously.
We need to get out right now.
So do
too
we
bad I
want
didn't
to spend a few minutes to plan, or do we want to just run blindly ahead?
We want to run blindly ahead if it gets us out of here.
What about that
That's
compass?
goblin logic.
Maybe is that compass some sort of like magical find your way through the sewer thing?
I don't know.
See? I mean,
Can we not check it here in the ambush blooding room, which other groups may be coming to in order to ambush people? We don't know what their
you
plan
guys got
is.
to
We don't
move
want
on.
their...
You were the 10 p.m. ambush. There's the 11 p.m. coming in right after you. So you guys got to get going.
The one thing
Time
we
is
know
ticking.
is that this is where the Herald brings people to be killed, so I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
So have you heard of the phrase "out of the frying pan and into the fire"?
Yes.
I would like to make sure we're not jumping into a fire.
We could just
I would
go in the
rather not be in a
hallway.
frying pan. You can run away from a fire. A frying pan has hard edges, it's metal. The fire is significantly safer than the frying pan.
We can leave this room.
These
at least.
analogies
Sure,
are going
let's do that.
going sideways.
Well,
all right. So you guys make your
yeah.
way back out, and as you
Wait,
make
so
your way,
are we going to go out the way that Vokar left and the way we came in?
There was
or
only
the other way?
So from the
Yeah.
passageway that you were in, there is only one way out.
Yeah.
And from the room that you were in, you have to go back the way you came,
Or
Okay.
dead
which
end.
leads you almost back to the Audiog before you can make a choice. The passageway that led to this side passageway left the Audiog's chamber.
Okay.
So if you remember, you had the big Audiog chamber, and there was a passageway going off to the, I want to say it was to the east. And as that passageway went off to the east, about 30 feet down was the passageway that led north to this room. So you're in a dead end right now.
Okay.
So leaving that chamber and making your way back down the passageway, about 20 feet down, you find a secret door that's open. And behind that secret door is a staircase going up. You didn't see that on the way in. The doorway wasn't there. So, and it wasn't there as you came in. So that, you have no idea what's going on with that. But it's not left open. It's not like wide open. It looks like someone closed it but didn't close it all the way. So it's open about 2 inches or something. But behind it is just a staircase going up.
I have a feeling that's going up into the city, and I don't
Yeah.
know that we want to go up into the city.
I know that we don't.
That seems like the fire from
Do you
the
want me
frying pan.
to at least sneak up it and see where it leads, and I can
No.
sneak back?
No, we do not. We want to be away from here as soon as possible.
Well, you are
Alright.
pretty sneaky, but I leave that up to you guys to decide.
I'm very quiet.
I mean, I don't think it would be a bad idea to take a quick peek up there.
Oh no.
All right, I'm gonna stealth up.
All right, so Zell is going to leave the group behind and go up the stairs and
Split
attempt to
the
see
party.
where it goes. Yeah, that's right. Welcome back. It's episode 10. Split the party time. All right, so what is your stealth? This isn't a roll you get to make.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No. This is a roll I make.
It is +8
All right.
I don't like that he.
I was-
or +7. +7.
I was about to cover it with my hand, but I realized I have this great screen by Dog Mike, and I don't need to do that. So you begin sneaking your way up the stairs, and you feel like you're doing a decent job. You're being relatively quiet. There,
Guys, I'm sneaky.
What are you singing the sneaky
Yeah.
song? I am
Sneak.
doing the sneaky song. Yeah, no, it's a bad idea. So you're making
Mission
your way up the
Impossible
staircase.
music.
Every once in a while, a little pebble will go bouncing down the stairs, and you're like, but after about, I don't know, it's probably about 5 or 6 flights, You start to see daylight up ahead being echoing or kind of reflected down the corridor. It's a spiral staircase, and it's just kind of going up and up and up. And you can start to hear the sounds of, like, night, basically, like wind and, you know, the occasional sound of birds and stuff. But it sounds like this is going outside, but there's no way you're outside the city limits right now.
Okay,
That's
it's still
impossible.
in the city. All right.
Right. I mean, you've wandered around in the sewers, but there's no way you've left the confines of Throne Step.
Right. I will head back down.
Okay. Yeah.
And report.
You just yell, "This isn't where we want to go!"
All right. So
Not good.
Zell comes back down, only gone a few minutes, but and reports that it seems like this goes back up into the city.
Okay.
The point of a sewer is to carry things the city doesn't want away from the city. So if we continually walk down sewer stream, we should get out of the city.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a solid plan.
Yep.
I'm going to put on my cloak and mask, sort of. From a distance, I might be able to.
From a long distance. Yeah. All right. So is the plan just to leave, or are you going back to talk to Grenville a little?
No, we'll just leave. I don't know. What do you
You just
think?
want to follow sewer downstream?
Yeah.
Downstream.
You know, if we run into trouble, maybe we can come back and check in with Grenville and see if he knows any.
If we're being pursued, we can try and be like, we brought you more food that will help prepare. Stab.
Yeah, perfect.
With my perfect cooking technique.
Yes.
Rapier, claw. All right.
Yep.
So you make your way down the sewer tunnel. And you're basically, if I'm following you correctly, you're just trying to follow the flow, as it were. Okay.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, great. So which one of you would like to be leading the group, making the decision of which way you go, and making the survival check?
Zell?
Should be Zell.
I do
Kind of sneak along and
have survival.
Well, that's good.
Sure do.
All right. So this is the sort of check that really the success and failure is like, assuming that there is actually a way out. It's not a thing that you can technically fail. It's just a matter of how much time you spend succeeding. But that's assuming, of course, that there actually is a way out down to the sewers.
Right.
So go ahead and make me a survival skill check.
All right. 23.
Well, that's quite good. It's not quite a critical success, but it is a success.
He really wants to get out of here.
Survive.
Yes.
The party does take a couple blind turns. The flow leads to chambers that you can't actually go into in some cases, right? It's like, oh, this one leads to a giant cistern, and the way out of the cistern is kind of on the other side or down through, and so there's a number of places where you have to kind of make a circuitous route through side tunnels and stuff. This eats up some time. But it only takes you a few hours. A few hours later, after trudging through the stinky, horrible sewers, you finally find that the sewer leads to an outgrate. That basically is a tunnel that leads out one of the walls that has bars in front of it so people can't sneak into the city that way.
Or out of the city.
And the city's sewage dumps out of this pipe, probably amongst many others, down into a rather polluted-looking river that dumps into Lake Incarthen.
Okay.
So you're on what you can only guess is the southern side of the city, you think, just based on where you can see Lake Incarthen, and that's what you see. But there is a barred way in front of you.
Is it barred built in, or is it like something that could be potentially moved?
The bars are built into the sewer tunnel itself. It doesn't look like they really planned on ever allowing these to be like opened for any reason. But they are old and pretty rusted.
Okay, well, I mean, I can try to break through them if we want to try that.
Okay.
What's the daylight situation looking like outside?
So, you guys came down here, if you recall, I think it was at around, 10 o'clock at night or so, and had your misadventures, which grand total took like an hour to get through all those sewer tunnels, because you took a couple breaks to do medicine and stuff. So all of that took about an hour. And from there, to where you are now took about 3 hours. Had you critically succeeded, it probably would have only taken about an hour, but it took about 2.5, 3 hours. So it's about 2 in the morning right now, 1 or 2 in the morning. All of you are starting to get very tired, but you have no choice but to press onward. There is no comfortable bed in the sewer. So it's about 2 in the morning. So the daylight situation is there isn't any. There is a moon. It's about a quarter. So there's some light, but it's not bright outside.
Okay. Yeah. Do you guys want me to try and break it open with my axe?
Very much so.
Yep.
Okay.
So here's what you're going to be doing. What you're actually trying to do is make an athletics check to bend the bars.
Oh, okay.
Because cutting through the bars metal on metal is going to ruin your axe pretty quick. So what you're actually going to be trying to do is use the axe's leverage to bend the bars.
Okay.
I will warn you, a critical failure will damage your axe.
Okay. Well, hopefully that won't happen.
Welcome to the Carina gun show.
16.
16 athletics. So you're working at the bars, and you got a little bit of movement, but it's not quite big enough for anyone to escape yet. Give me another check.
I'm just gonna roll a 4, so 12.
No progress there.
Try again.
Yeah, sure.
13.
13. All right. So continually going down. All right. The
Wait,
axe
no,
is
that should
starting
have been
to
1 up. What did I say last time?
Yeah, you said 12, then 13.
12, then
12,
13.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah.
That's a bigger number.
Oh, it is bigger. 13 is bigger than 12. See, we haven't been gaming for a while, so I forget how numbers work.
Yeah,
it's
how
fine.
does this work?
All right. Give me one more check.
Okay.
I'm like, you can do it.
So that's another 16.
16. All right, well, you just needed to make a couple successes. It's kind of like picking a lock, but with an axe. So you're basically just trying to pry these bars open wide enough for everyone to squeeze through. If this were a combat situation, it would be the sort of thing where squeezing through actually was quite a bit of effort. But since there's no one directly chasing you, you can all slowly, carefully do it. It's not that big of a challenge. Now, once you're through the bars, though, there is about a 15-foot drop. This is like the side of a wall. So yeah, how do you plan to deal with that?
Rope.
Does anybody have any rope?
Ooh,
Didn't you get a backpack?
yeah, I think we have rope.
I don't think we have rope, because we tried to get rope, and you even asked them if they had rope, and they were telling us
That was also part of your failed attempt to get a grappling hook, if I recall correctly.
I certainly don't have any rope. How far down is it?
15 feet.
We have these robes. We could,
tie the ropes together for crude rope.
You could.
Yeah,
That's a better idea than nothing.
then yeah,
All
not.
right.
So, okay.
So 3 of the robes you can use to basically make about 10 feet of crude rope. However, I'm going to need somebody to make a craft skill check to indicate how well you make this rope. And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to let you roll that. I'm going to call this a secret check because that makes more sense. How useful is this rope? So who has the craft check? Who's going to make it?
What's your
8?
I have a 5. Can I help her?
You can give some aid. Yeah, sure.
I guess we should have helped you open the bars.
Yeah, I was thinking about
I was
that.
going to ask if acid would do it.
No, you would have needed a bigger tool to get more
Yeah.
than one person to help.
Oh, okay.
So let's go ahead and make that check. All right. So you tie together the ropes. You think you've done a pretty solid job. It feels pretty sturdy. And then folks can attempt to climb down.
Do you want me to go first or last? Because I might be a bit heavier than
Qundle heads for the rope to get out of the city.
All right. So while you're discussing it, Qundle throws himself over the edge, grabbing the rope, and attempts to climb down. Give me an athletics check.
Qundle's a shark. He doesn't look back.
Qundle's also
Just
bad
bop
at
him
this.
on the nose.
Let's see. I will have a grand total of 5.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So Qundle makes it down a chunk of the way before his grip kind of lets loose, and you do tumble down to the ground. But you made it a part of the way. So take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
As you fall like the last bit.
Qundle, are you okay?
I'm out of the city. I'm great.
Who's going next?
I'll go next.
What's your athletics look like?
Bad.
Do you want to just hold on to the end of the rope and Zell and I can lower you down?
Or you can hang on to my back. I mean, that's how we got out of the situation with your teacher.
That's true. Is that good? That's going to make it harder for you to climb down.
Callback to episode 0.
Oh, PaizoCon exclusive.
Yeah, for those of you who might have missed
those.
it, we did do an episode 0 at PaizoCon that was filled with revelations and secrets. It was a delight. We'll be making sure to put it up as part of the stream soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you hang on to my neck and I'll climb down.
Huh.
Or
all right.
Karina's way stronger.
This will require an athletics check too, but it's a lot simpler.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and give me the athletics check?
Or hang on to Karina's back. How about that? I think you're stronger. Are you okay with that, Karina?
Sure. I think you guys have more practice at working together, but
that's true.
I'll give it a
that's
go.
true. Yeah, we'll do it. We're fine.
You got this.
We got
We're
this.
best friends.
Best friend
be
power.
great.
Yeah.
Best friend power.
What could go wrong? Ooh, okay, that's a 20.
Yeah. All right. So Zell,
So you can hang on to Zell.
So Zell, if you blow this check, both of you fall.
Right. No. 21.
Oh, you're great. So the two of you go sliding right down the rope, and when you get to the bottom, it's only about a 5-foot drop at that point, and you're almost that tall, so you pretty much just land on your feet. No
Friend
problem
power.
at all.
Friend power. High five.
Awkward.
Sabrina, by the way, is still with all of you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's been quiet this whole time because she saw some things back there that looks like they're affecting her deeply. And in particular, she's been looking at Mikah with kind of saying untrusting makes it sound too sinister, but she's been looking at you kind of warily.
That's fair.
She just thinks you might out necromancer her. So we're still on there.
That's it.
I'm sure that's it.
Yeah. So she tucks her flute into her pouch, and she goes sliding down the rope, and totally fails, and falls a large chunk of the way.
Can I try and catch her?
Yes. So we do have a there's a way that you can like grab an edge. I'm gonna use rules similar to that to be like I'll catch you. So go ahead and give me a. We're gonna go ahead and call this an acrobatics check.
Okay.
Good choice.
So that's, all right.
This isn't quite the perfect usage of this skill, but that's okay.
No.
That's the fun of it.
It's a great thing I love about the new skill system. It's like, yeah, that'll work.
21?
21? Well, Sabrina is about to plummet and land right on her bum, but you are there and catch her gracefully, and she's like in your arms, and she looks at you and is just like, oh, and she's suddenly all flushed from having fallen just over.
I give a fang-filled smile and say, "No problem."
I'm sure that's really comforting.
Really helpful.
Put her right next to Mikah.
So she kind of just looks at you and she's like, "Oh, thank you," and just kind of pops off. And then that only leaves you, Karina.
Yeah, all right, here we go.
Getting ready to catch now.
That's going to be a 20.
20. All right. You all go sliding down this rope, and you're all down at the bottom now. Awesome. The rope is obviously still tied onto the sewer. You can't really get it off from down here. So you're free and outside the city of Thronestep. What would you like to do?
Well,
I should probably describe the environment.
Yeah.
Let me give you a sense of where you're at. You're south of the city of Thronestep. This is not far away from the gate that you entered when you came into the city a few days ago. So you're on the south side of the city. That's the same side you entered on. The environment surrounding the city looks like it's mostly been clear-cut. It looks like there was some forest around here that's all been cut down. There are some fields, some farm fields and whatnot surrounding the city. But there's not a lot of dense forest or anything that you could obviously just run into and hide. That doesn't mean that there aren't small groves of trees here and there. And by small, I mean they're a couple 100 feet wide. There are areas where you could certainly get cover, but you couldn't spend great deals of time hiding or traveling through them. But they are certainly things that you could go and hide in. They're usually in places where the land slopes down towards the water because there's a few rivers that crisscross this area and dumping out in Lake Incarthen, and where the land kind of turns too hilly and mountainous for them to farm or anything. There's trees. So there's some areas like that nearby to the south and to the west. from what you all know of Razmir, which isn't much, Throne Step's kind of in the middle of it, so you're not like right near a border or anything like that. North, south, or east are really your only directions of travel. South would lead you down towards Kainan and the land of the elves. East would lead you towards the River Kingdoms, which is a rough amalgam of small kingdoms and baronies. And north would lead you to a number of different nations, depending on which way you go north. But you can end up in Ustalav, you can end up in the World Wound, in areas like that.
Well, we were headed south initially on the boat, so I think we should take that direction.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is the side of the city that you're on. So, it is about 2 a.m. You tell me what you want to do.
Is there somewhere to the south, not the nearest small copse of trees, but a further away small copse of trees that we can see glinting in the quarter moonlight?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Zell.
Yes.
Can you make great big obvious footsteps from here running around the city of the north, then sneak back without leaving tracks, and we will all run down this river as long as we can to not leave tracks, and then make a break for that far set of trees way down there?
Sure.
Okay. We'll go now. You catch up.
Plomp, plomp, plomp. I make some footsteps.
Okay. So you're like Godzilla footing it, and I'm not just saying that because you're
right.
I mean, that's not. I didn't mean that. All right. Anyway,
rude.
I was like, wow, that was rude. All right.
Ruxy faux pas.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
If it means that he gets a breath weapon as a feat later, he'll be fine.
Yeah. That's fair. All right. So you're heading north. Give me a survival check. This is kind of the inverse of tracking. It's to leave super obvious tracks, so we'll call that a usage of survival.
Ooh, no. 5?
5.
As in I rolled a 1.
Oh, all right. Are you happy with that roll?
No, I'll burn a hero point.
Yeah, why don't you hand that back over here?
Slightly better at an 11.
Okay. So you're stomping north trying to leave obvious tracks. The rest of you are following the sewage river.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it'll be harder for people to track us over.
We're walking in the river, right?
Yeah, in the sewage.
Splash.
Whatever.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
All right. Our stinky heroes make their
Definitely.
way. Okay. So the sewage river goes, and to be honest, it's a sewage river only for about 50 feet or so. Then it joins an actual river, which is then just a dirty river. But it's not pure sewage. So you're able to kind of make your way there and make your way along that. Zell, how long do you want to go? How long do you want to keep this trail going?
I'm only going to go about maybe 20 minutes and then head back.
So 20 minutes is like almost a mile.
Oh, okay.
So, if you're following the curve of the city, you go quite a ways, right?
Yeah, and I'll make it meander, looking like I'm not really sure where I want to go. And...
Okay. All right. So, by the time Zell catches back up with all of you, if you guys walk 20 minutes, you end up back on Lake Incarthen.
I want to make a break for one of the copse of trees before that.
Okay. All right. So you guys only go about 10 minutes. Then.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Because about another 5 minutes after that, you'd run into the trail or the path that leads to the big promenade and the statues and stuff leading into the city. So you're avoiding that. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you make your way a bit to the south, a bit to the west towards Lake Incarthen. But about 10 minutes later, you begin to break and head south over land. Now, fortunately, it's a relatively dark night. There's only about a quarter moon up. It is a little cloudy, so it's pretty dark out. And Zell doesn't rejoin you for probably almost an hour. Can you give me another survival check just to find them?
I can't see anything.
I was going to say, can we kind of keep a lookout and be like...
22.
You can, but Zell finds you without too much trouble. So
I don't.
Oh, yeah, we're very stinky, so...
Yeah, no. As it turns
tongue.
out, that just the sense of smell allows you to track them down without too much trouble.
Great.
Okay. So
I just followed the filth to
all
find
of
you.
that kind of plays out together, and you guys are now breaking south. It's now probably about 3:30 in the morning. Not dawn yet. You've probably got another hour or two before the sun slowly starts to make its rise, but not too much time. Are you making for that first copse? You said it sounded like you were trying to aim for like the second?
Yeah.
Or one a little bit more distant?
Especially if there's one more distant that has one of those little streams you were mentioning tends to be in those areas.
Yeah.
Something we can wash in.
Okay. About another hour and a half goes by. It's probably getting closer to about 4 or 5 in the morning. You don't exactly have clocks. But you do know this. The sky is starting to lighten. When you finally make it to this copse of trees, and I want to stress that it's probably, 300 feet long by 60, 70 feet wide on a tiny stream making its way between farmland. For the most part, your journey has been through farms and stuff, and occasionally the worst that's happened is like a dog starts barking somewhere nearby.
Yeah, that freaked Qundle right out.
Yeah, I figured. But nothing chases you. There's no danger or anything like that. At least nothing that's apparent. When you arrive at this group of trees, what do you want to do? You guys are all, by the way, now cresting into fatigue and exhaustion.
Yeah.
You've been up all night.
We need to scrub off,
Yes.
and then we need sleep.
Yes. I can't think straight because I'm so tired. So.
Scrub off, sleep.
Okay.
I need my spells back.
So, you scrub off. You find a place, or at least you try to. Can someone give me a survival check to find a good place to rest?
Survival check.
Super useful skill when traveling out in the wilderness, as it turns out.
15.
15. Finds you a place that's within the kind of grouping of trees. That's a small clearing. It's not the best spot to rest, but it's not in mud, and it's on dry ground, and it's a relatively sheltered place from the sun. So it's as good as any place. And you're able to bed down.
Is anybody going to try and stay awake, or should we just...
Yeah, we should probably do a system of watch and maybe, try and camouflage ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Put some branches
obscure ourselves.
around.
We can try and make a nest, but we need sleep. If someone sets up their... The best thing we can do is all stop being tired as fast as possible. It will take them time to find us this far out.
I don't know, they're going to be on horseback, too.
I'll stay up.
While you stay up, why don't you just try and camouflage?
Sure.
Area?
Qundle throws himself down to get some sleep.
Okay. So, you have what sounds like a rudimentary system of watches, at least a few hours until sunup. And then, but you all managed to get some fitful sleep. Now, I do want to point out that at this point in time, the players have been adventuring for a very long time. And you know what? I believe that, according to my XP totals, you all have gotten enough XP to advance to second level.
Yay!
So congratulations, everybody. You have made it to second level. You've survived first level.
So the rest of this session will be us leveling up. Got to get out the books, get them open.
That's right. Another 20 minutes of exciting book flipping. No, as a matter of fact, they all knew this was coming and have already made all the adjustments to their characters. So we already have those all taken care of. I'll talk to you for just a brief moment here about what that means. For every single one of the characters, it meant a new class feat and a new skill feat. In addition, depending on which character we're talking about, they may have gotten another boost as well, or another ability as well. But that depends on the character. Mikah, for example, learned some new spells. Woo! Zell got an additional skill training, things of that nature. So we're not going to go through every change that everybody made. All of their numbers are going to rise a little bit because proficiency is tied to level. Everybody got some more hit points and things like that. But as we continue playing, if you run into things that are new, feel free to point them out to folks as we explore what second level means. But on the whole, the leveling process was relatively quick. So here's what happens. You guys keep watch, and that is certainly a stressful period of time. The morning passes, and I'm just going to kind of give a narrative for all the different people who are on watch. The morning comes, the sunlight breaks, and slowly the world wakes up. For all of you, this means fitful, frightful sleep filled with bad dreams, nightmares of sewers, and every once in a while, a strange visage of some bone-white tower somewhere far in the distance. However, your watch proves relatively uneventful. The morning passes, and you find it is now early afternoon, and thus far, doesn't seem like anything bad has happened. But, just as you are all waking up and gathering up your stuff, somewhere far in the distance, you can hear a horn being blown. And that is the moment where all of you are finally waking up. It's now like mid-afternoon, so it's like 2 in the afternoon, maybe 3. The watches meant that you had to sleep a little longer to make sure everybody got the requisite amount of sleep.
Did we get enough sleep for people who are injured to heal?
Yes, everybody regains 2 hit points that way.
So I have a question.
Yes.
I leveled up and got a lot of hit points. Do I get all those hit points as I level? Okay.
Yeah. So the ones that you got from leveling up, so if that was 10 plus your con modifier, for example, you get all of those right away. Okay. You don't have to heal those. Those just pop into existence.
Okay, cool.
It's just simpler that way.
Okay. We could take time for some healing, or we could run.
Well, right now we're kind of hidden. If we run, there's very likely going to see us. Right? Like, if they're hunting us during the day, the horns and all that is probably intended to, like, flush us out of hiding and spook us.
It worked. I'm spooked.
I think we should probably heal.
Yeah, I think we should heal. We should try to hunker down here and see what happens.
At the very least, those of you who have spells need to spend time preparing or getting those slots ready. That alone takes an hour. This also would be a chance for folks to identify some magic items and stuff.
Which I can do faster now.
Yeah, you can do all of that. So it's kind of up to all of you how you want to approach this. This isn't on a strict schedule. But
you also get your spells.
To keep things moving, once you decide, we'll go through the stuff relatively quickly here. So, what do you want to do?
Hunker for the day?
Mm-hmm.
For the whole day?
What time is sundown right now, this time of year?
It'll be around 7 or 8.
Okay.
Sometime around then. So, sometime in the late afternoon, early to mid-evening. Yeah, somewhere in there. That's a broad nonsense time description. It sets around 7 or 8.
Okay.
I think we should hide during the day, travel at night until we're kind of out of a more populated area.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
All right. So, you all hunker down. You're able to identify some magic items. Let's see. I think that's either an Arcana check on this side or a Divine check on this side.
Well, it sounds like she can do it faster, so...
Yep.
Yeah, quick identification. Okay, sorry, you said Arcana check?
Yep. Go ahead and give me a handful of those.
Okie doke. Ooh. That one's 14.
The DC on these is not incredibly high, so...
Okay. 19. 15. You're in trouble. 18.
Did you just put your D20 in timeout?
I did.
Okay. That's enough.
But it's padded, so it's a nice timeout.
You are all good. Okay, so here's what you find. First of all, the rapier is a +1 rapier.
Oh.
So that's going to give you +1 to hit. That's pretty much all it does, but it is a magic weapon that is +1 to hit. Unlike in the playtest, that doesn't add a die of damage. To get the die of damage, you now need what's called the striking rune. This weapon does not have that striking rune as of yet. The next thing you manage to identify is the compass. The compass is known as a wayfinder. The wayfinder itself is pretty much exactly what it appears to be. It is a compass. However, studying it, you notice that in the middle of it there is a slot for a stone to be placed, like a gemstone to be placed. Rumor has it that if an Aeon stone, which are these magical gemstones, are placed inside of a wayfinder, it unlocks additional powers. But other than that, that's pretty much all the wayfinder does. You did not manage to identify whatever the strange claw was that's attached to the end of the rapier. You're not sure what that does, and nor are you able to identify one of the vials, the one with the silvery liquid you could identify. The last vial, though, is a lesser healing potion that you were able to easily identify.
And did we got something earlier that does striking for like 1
You found a
round?
potency crystal that's attached to a low-grade silver short sword.
Okay.
That will turn it into a +1 striking weapon for 1 round.
Okay. Gotcha.
I will go ahead and attempt to identify the thing she failed since we're going to be here for the day.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and give me some divine checks.
Okay. 22.
Okay.
And on a 1, 9.
Okay. Well, that last potion is resisting any attempts at being identified.
What are you?
I'm a speaking potion.
Discovered it.
So for those of you who haven't noticed, I'm actually able to flip through the book to look for the rules that I'm missing now. So this is almost like it's like we're playing a normal game now. I don't have to play off print-offs.
Bathroom break.
All right. So the owlbear claw, because that's what it is a talisman.
Oh.
When you activate the claw, and it's currently attached to the rapier, you gain the weapon's critical specialization effect. So when you hit with a critical hit, you can burn the claw, and it'll cause it to become a non-magic item. It's only usable once. And then you gain the critical specialization effect for the rapier. Now, on a rapier, that does exactly the following, because I have it right here. Your target becomes flat-footed until the start of your next turn.
That's handy.
Not bad.
Do you want that?
I mean, I kind of like my axe.
No, I mean the talisman.
The crystal.
Can I detach it and give it?
You can. To do that, you need a repair kit, which is one of the items you actually found off the body that was floating down in the sewers.
Nice.
So that just takes some work, and you can transfer it from one weapon to another.
Okay.
I want to attach to your axe.
Sure.
All right. That will give you the axe's critical specialization effect, which I'd look up, but I just put the book down,
Yeah.
so we'll worry about that.
No worries.
Later.
So my shield took some damage. Can I craft check that?
Yes, you
I don't
can.
have those rules in my copy, so.
Just go ahead and make me a craft skill check.
Okay.
You're basically trying to buff out some of the damage to it.
Oh, that's gonna be a 20.
20, yeah. How much damage had it taken?
3 hit points.
Oh, it's back to full. That's fine.
Sweet.
Are we?
Wonderful.
Do we all have some damage on us still?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. All right, so just you and I. So 1 hour, no healing. In the second hour of working on healing, he will get you 12 points of healing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
Then I'll worry about myself, and I will be able to heal myself.
All right, great. So, problem solved. Okay, so hours go by, and through this hours, the horns begin to grow louder. And on the far distance, you can hear baying. Barking.
Dogs.
We better be ready for them. They will find us.
I'm going to look to see if there is any place here that we could, like, stand behind logs and have cover or protection from...
Not in this copse. This copse is too small and too lightly wooded. Like, there are trees in here, but they're not big. Those that have fallen are like, their trunks are like this big. They're not big enough to hide behind. It's too young of a little copse of trees.
Are there any, like, rocks? I mean, even small fist-sized rocks?
Sure, yeah.
All right, so Qundle's going to be making a little pile of fist-sized rocks.
Sure. So, you make all these preparations, but evening comes and the baying is growing closer and louder, but it's not here yet. And the sun begins to set, darkness begins to overtake the world. What do you do?
Still getting louder?
Yes, but it's kind of hard to tell. I'm assuming that you guys haven't, like, made your way to the edge of the forest to look around and see what's coming after you or anything like that. Okay. So it still sounds like it's out there, but it still sounds like it might be a few miles off. You guys did travel, like, 5 or 6 miles away from the city.
Okay.
It's dark. They're mostly human. We could make a run for it.
Yeah.
I think maybe we could do that.
Yeah.
A little nerve-wracking.
We could try and hide in someone's barn, maybe.
Where's the nearest next copse of trees?
So
Roughly southerly.
So if you make your way to the southern side of the woods and start looking around, you can see that to the south of you there are more like, here's a small farmhouse, here's a copse of trees, there's scattered things in the terrain. Like here, between these two farms, there's an old stone wall that as long as you were on one side of it and hunkered down, no one could see you, right? And you could make your way along it. There's plenty of things like that. I don't want to necessarily sit here and describe every single one of them, but there's plenty of stuff like that you could use to kind of make your way. Although I would say this, you're going to be moving at about half speed compared to like just straight out bolting for a target. So you have two options here. You can go kind of slower, but stay more hidden, or you can go much faster, like twice speed, to like a large copse of trees that's like 10 miles away.
How cloudy is it?
I'm going to roll for that.
I'm kind of thinking go slow to start, and once it gets really, really dark, then we start
cloudy,
going faster.
Not heavily clouded.
We definitely want cover at first. There's just too much moonlight.
Do you want me to go to the edge of the forest and see if I can see anything? I can't see in the dark, but...
I can. I'm also not very stealthy, though.
They're coming. We know they're coming.
Yeah.
We don't want them to see us. Let's just go.
To be honest, if you break from these trees, 5 minutes after you leave, you'll be able to see past them, right? Because they'll start fading in the distance, and you'll be able to see what's
Can we
beyond them.
follow the stream for a little bit and, like, just maybe try and stay in the water as much as possible?
Yeah.
Protect our scent from the dogs a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so that's all part of like the generic kind of like hide behind walls, follow streams, do whatever you can to avoid a hunting pack of dogs.
Yeah.
So you begin to do those things. I'm going to roll. What's the best survival check in the group?
I have
I think.
Not mine.
I have a 5.
5.
All right, 5 it is. Okay. So the group begins to kind of zigzag across the countryside. You quickly leave the copse of trees. You follow the stream for a bit. You hide behind a barn that leads to a wall. You follow the wall. After about an hour, you've now left the copse of trees well behind and can see past it. And even in the darkness, you can see the hunting party. They are traveling by horse with dogs on leashes, and you can see their torches. And even from this far-off distance, you can catch the gold glint of Vokar's mask. He must be with them, or another priest that has a gold mask. But it's kind of hard to tell from this distance. But you can definitely make out the glint of metal as this group is hunting you. And you chase your way between woods, between forest, between walls. And the chase continues for several hours. They eventually slow down, and you begin to put more distance between you and them. You've slept most of the day. They've been hunting most of the day. And there comes a point where they appear to stop, and it's at about midnight. Do you keep moving? What do you do?
I think we keep moving.
How many does it look like are in their party?
It's impossible to tell.
There's
several
shadows
miles off.
and-
Yeah, and it's darkness. You can definitely see a group being led with like lanterns and torches and stuff. But at about midnight, they give up the pursuit, at least for now.
I think we should at least move for at least 2 more hours.
I say, since they've stopped, we use the bolt method.
So through this whole chase, whenever Zell was doing something to try and conceal his steps, Qundle was hopping along trying to do exactly what Zell did, because Qundle did not have survival a level ago, so he's picking it up.
He's
tonight.
learning. Yay.
Apparently almost mocking Zell and how he duplicates everything he does.
All right.
I think bolting now
Bolting
makes
now.
sense.
Put some more distance between us, at least.
Yeah, if they've given up the pursuit and we are far enough away and we're not depending on light sources, we just make as fast a run for it as we can.
All right.
Cheese it.
Cheese it, it's the priests.
So, you continue your journey deeper and deeper into the night. Off in the distance, you can see what looks to be like a larger group of trees. Now you're like over 10 miles away from the city. The city is now starting to become a distant twinkle of lights. And the copse of trees are getting bigger and bigger because they're not being clear-cut by the city for their needs. So you're finding larger and larger groups of trees. And up ahead, there looks like one that could be genuinely called a small wood. It's still not a forest. It's still not a place that you're going to travel for hours on, but it's big. It's probably half a mile wide and maybe equally as long.
That seems like a natural place to stop for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You cut through farms, and now even the farms are starting to get sparse. You're starting to get more just kind of open fields and ground. And you make your way to this woods of tree. this woods of trees. Boy, it's been a day.
I have robes.
Yeah, I have robes and woods of trees.
We can't see the forest. Why?
Yeah.
Because of the trees.
Yeah, that's right. So you make your way up to this larger wood, and soon find yourself underneath its sheltering boughs. It's very dark because it's still like a quarter moon, and underneath the boughs of the trees, it becomes very dark very quickly. But I'm assuming you press on, and now the going is super slow because you're almost blind, unless you want to light up a light source.
Nope.
How
Absolutely
about if
not.
we have dark vision?
Dark vision helps some of you, but it doesn't help poor Zal.
Okay,
You
so I
can't
think
see.
the
Someone
two of
hold
us,
my hand.
the two of us go in front, and you guys.
You go in front, I'll go behind to make sure one of
Oh.
them isn't skewing off to the side.
I've
Sure.
got low light vision. I don't think that helps me at this point.
So, she'll be in front, I'll be behind, so that we can make sure they're staying between us.
All right. So you continue to make your way deeper and deeper into the woods, and I'm assuming you're not making any motion to be silent or anything. Like
No.
that. You're just
Nope.
going deeper in.
We were bolting, so.
Now
So,
I wish we were, but
now that I say that,
yeah.
and you find yourself in a small clearing, and as you enter the clearing, you realize that this might be just an ideal place to camp. It's nice, it's sheltered mostly, but it still has a view of the sky above. It's relatively clear and relatively free, and as you go there to set up camp, a small figure comes out of the woods on the opposite side. Bow in hand, arrow knocked, looking at all of you going, "Who the hell are you and what are you doing in my wood?" And that is where I'm ending today's session.
Yep.
I want to thank you all for watching the Oblivion Oath. Thank you for coming back and joining us for episode 10. We will be back next Thursday for episode 11 in the
Yay.
woods with the small mysterious archer. Small mysterious archer.
The SMA.
The SMA. So I want to thank you all for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.